Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm talking about haunted places in the U.S. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media, ways to listen, and ways to support the show at the website, and that is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. And there are many ways to support the show. You can always share the show with others and rate and review it in your favorite podcast platform. You can check out the Patreon feed and get all kinds of extra content there for as little as $1 a month. You can also check out the merchandise store, which will have some extra items in it coming in October. Uh, and to get shirts of all different kinds and some other items with designs made by friends of the show. Also, please, and support is never expected but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows. Also, please check out the links in every episode description for friends of the show. That would be Jen, the Arcane Observer, who has her own channel but also will usually co host on this show on Saturdays when she's able, and Michael Strange of Trouble Minds Radio and the Trouble Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, where you can hear all kinds of amazing shows 24/7, along with my own, and uh, nonstop, basically. So, no need to press play on every episode. Um, I think that covers everything. So, a couple of things I always like to bring up when I do these shows, these episodes on haunted places. Please, if you hear about a location on these shows and you're interested in it, uh, check on whether or not people are allowed to visit it now. Basically, just check in and see what's going on there currently, because whatever information I have may be out of date and things can change. And I never recommend trespassing for all kinds of reasons. So, and I think that takes care of that. I'm trying a different way of these doing these shows, so I'll be reading from a summary a little more than I had before, and but I will still have articles, web pages in the episode description for you all to check out and to go from there. So I'm not going to be quoting any specific articles on these shows anymore at this point. So, um, but yeah, so I always enjoy doing these. Of course, this series is not uh, meant to be a comprehensive series in any way. Uh, I just am covering a handful of places from each of the states in the U.S. and and that's how we're going to do it, because I don't know if there is such a thing as being able to ever have a complete list of places that are said to have paranormal activity. I think it has been going on around the world, all over the place, uh, probably for a very long time. So we'll start with the 1754 house inn, uh, INN, and it's also known as the Curtis House Inn in Woodbury, Connecticut. So it was formerly known as the Curtis House Inn. Now it's known, as of when this information was gathered, as the 1754 House Inn. It's reputed to be one of the longest operating inns, the longest operating inn in Connecticut, and it's located in Woodbury and dates back to original construction by Anthony Stoddard in 1736. Says the property first welcomed travelers as an inn in 1754 under the management of the Curtis family, and has remained a fixture of local history, now listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Throughout its long history, the inn has attracted persistent claims of hauntings and paranormal activity. Numerous guests, staff, and investigators report encounters with apparitions, notably a male entity in colonial attire, a Confederate soldier in the liquor room, and a female spirit said to actively disturb visitors. There are also stories of ghostly music, disembodied voices, strange footsteps, and unexplained activity with paranormal investigation equipment, such as REM pods. These are um, triggered by electromagnetic fields, I believe. Uh, so REM pods trigger without cause. One legendary spirit is Joe Hardesty, a former dishwasher whose presence is still felt in the building and who was buried on the property at his request. The inn's haunted reputation is reinforced by frequent first person accounts. Guests describe uh, paranormal interactions such as feeling watched or even touched, hearing unexplained noises, and experiencing unusual physical sensations, especially at night. Professional investigators and even notable figures like Lorraine Warren have visited, confirming strong energy and cautioning against disruptive ghost hunting. That is always it's a double-edged sword, I think, in a way. Even when it's done right, I think it can be it can help a lot. It's like anything. There's good sides and bad sides to it, and even when it's done well and respectfully, I think it can still be. You never know what's going to happen. The hauntings have become an integral part of the inn's allure, often referenced in tourism media and paranormal directories as a must-visit location for those interested in the paranormal. Uh, so, in summary, the 1754 House Inn slash Curtis House Inn is a historic Connecticut institution whose rich past and consistent reports of paranormal activity combine to make it one of New England's most famous haunted destinations. So that's where that one ends. I definitely recommend checking out any articles you can find online about it. Again, I'll post a couple in the episode description, and because they'll usually have pictures that you can see of the locations and go from there. And like I said, see if it's possible to stay there, then you can go and check it out. And if anything happened, you know who to talk to about it. So, um, as in this podcast. So, hopefully you all are enjoy this new sort of new format of doing these shows. It's just going to cut down on a lot of extra reading and screen time on my part to prepare these shows this way. So hopefully it still works for you all as well. But so yeah, I'm just looking at the chat here. Hello everyone, I see you there. The other nice thing about this is there will be a lot less me skimming through articles and trying to figure out what to say, what parts to include and what parts to skip over because I've already talked about it in a previous article because sometimes the articles do repeat things. So I think with this we'll get through more locations per show uh, in doing things this way and getting these summaries uh, generated by AI but with sources and but then just reading the summaries and then providing a couple of the sources and letting you all go and find more. I think it'll be hopefully work well for you all as well as it works for me because I do enjoy this. It's just anytime I can streamline things and make it easier to do, and I really enjoy doing that. So we are moving on to the state of Delaware, and this next location I have heard of. a little bit from different shows. So, um, yeah, this is gonna be good. It's a fort. It's Fort Delaware, and it's not I don't know if it's a universal thing, but sort of like hospitals and hotels and different places like that. These, especially the older military installations, seem to almost always have activity in and around them. So this is Fort. So this is where we're moving on to locations in the state of Delaware, and this is Fort Delaware, which is apparently on Pea Patch Island. That's PEA, in Delaware City. So let's go down a little bit here. Fort Delaware is located again on that island I just mentioned. Um, it's a historic coastal defense fort, best known for its use as a Civil War prison and for its reputation as one of the most haunted places in the state. Excuse me. Uh, the U.S. government acquired Pea Patch Island in 1813, initially constructing earthwork fortifications before building the present pentagon-shaped masonry fort between 1848 and 1860. Fort Delaware was designed to defend uh, Wilmington and Philadelphia and could mount over 169 heavy cannons in its strategic seacoast fortifications. During the Civil War, the fort was converted into a prison camp. It held up to 13,000 Confederate prisoners at one time, and more than 33,000 passed through the building there during the war. Prisoners experienced overcrowding, poor food, exposure, and disease, resulting in an estimated 2,500 deaths, with many buried at nearby Finns Point National Cemetery. Fort Delaware is regarded as Delaware's most haunted site, featured on paranormal TV shows like Ghost Hunters. I think I even saw that. I was into those shows for a little while before I started noticing some things I didn't care for about the whole genre in general. Reports include apparitions of Confederate soldiers, disembodied voices, cold spots, cannon fire sounds. This is something that I've heard about with Gettysburg. I wonder how common it is in other forts and or battlefields. I'm curious about that now. Footsteps and shadowy figures in photographs. Notable entities said to haunt the fort include the spirit of a woman in the kitchen, sometimes called Susan, spirits of children in the officers' quarters, and spectral soldiers observed watching tour groups. That's fascinating. Paranormal tours led by groups like the Diamond State Ghost Hunters, Ghost Investigators, allow visitors to explore reputedly haunted areas and have recorded phenomena such as touching by unseen forces, shadow anomalies, and mysterious whispers. The kitchen area is described as particularly active, with a distinctly cold spot believed by some to be a lingering spirit. Cold spots are tricky, I think, temperature spots like that, unless you do look into possible sources of air and all those kinds of things, but not to say that they can't be paranormal either. It says the legend of the drummer boy attempting escape by coffin is often repeated, though with little historical basis. Let's see here. The fort is, and again, this is based on what information I was able to find. It's now a state park, offering historical reenactments and regular paranormal investigations, especially popular in the fall. Let me see. Proceeds from ghost tours since 2009 have contributed significantly to the preservation of the site, with many repeat visitors drawn by its paranormal reputation. Uh, there's a note here about folklore. The island itself is subject to local legend, said to have been formed after a shipload of peas, as in the vegetable, sank and germinated in the shallows. That's fascinating. So, in summary, Fort Delaware combines rich wartime history with enduring stories of hauntings, making it a unique destination for both history buffs. There we go, and paranormal enthusiasts. If I can read right, there we go. So that's the second location. So yeah, the islands. Also, I always find that fascinating whenever there's islands and reported activity in islands because again they're surrounded by water. Uh, and yeah, I'm wondering about that legend about the vegetable, the peas sinking, and then I don't even know if that'd be possible, but that's pretty amazing. The tour is being watched by soldiers and even the kids. I do wonder how much of that is residual and how much is intelligent. That's always something you have to kind of try to figure out when you're there, or get a lot more details from people that do go there to possibly figure that out. But it's hard to know for sure with that. Uh, so and yeah. So anyway, I think that's all I have for that one. We'll move on to the next location here. So thank you all for bearing with me as I try out this somewhat new format here. This next location is Woodburn. I guess it's mansion. It's Woodburn Mansion, or the governor's mansion in Dover, Delaware. It's renowned. It's a renowned Georgia style, so Georgian home built around 1798. It's both a historical landmark and one of Delaware's most famous haunted locations. Woodburn was constructed by Charles Hilliard III between 1790 and 1798 and became known as one of Kent County's grandest homes. The mansion was inherited by Hilliard's daughter, Mary, who, with her husband, Martin W. Bates, who was a doctor and U.S. Senator, leased it to Governor Jacob Stout in 1820, marking its first use as a governor's residence. In 1825, abolitionist Daniel Cowgill purchased Woodburn and famously freed his family's enslaved people, allowing them to meet in the mansion's hall. The Cowgill family ownership persisted until 1912. The mansion then went through several owners, including politicians and professionals, until the property was split in the 1950s. Woodburn officially became the state's governor's residence in 1965 after restoration and furnishing that honored its period architecture, and it remains the home of the sitting governor today. So now we get into the hauntings and legends. The first documented ghost sighting at Woodburn dates to about 1815, when Methodist preacher Lorenzo Dow described meeting an elderly gentleman in a powdered wig and breeches matching the appearance of founder Charles Hilliard III, who had recently died. Uh, Apparitions of uh, men in colonial dress seen on staircases and in the dining room are reported. Also, strange occurrences with wine, where decanters left out have been emptied mysteriously overnight. Governors and guests have reported spotting apparitions helping themselves to wine. That's fascinating. Because again, where does that go? Where does that wine go? Uh, there's also unexplained footsteps heard late at night on the upper floors and witnessed by governors' family members. A floating figure is seen there, clad in Revolutionary War attire, is occasionally reported gliding through the rooms. The mansion's haunted reputation has drawn significant attention from paranormal enthusiasts. It has become a storied part of Delaware folklore, with staff and guests continuing to share accounts of supernatural experiences. Woodburn offers public tours by appointment where visitors can learn about its architecture, history, political legacy, and ghost stories from official guides. And in summary, Woodburn combines rich architectural and political heritage with a long history of ghost legends, making it one of Delaware's most notable historic and haunted locations. So that's the end of that one. And I think I'm going to stop there. We might be able to get through one more, but I don't know for sure. So, but yeah, I wonder too now, thinking about it, if you have these places where there's historic events happening, or people that are in positions of power, whether they use those positions of power well or not, with good intentions or not, I wonder if sort of all that pressure, all that extra um, or more intense thought, or just everything that would go with being in charge of things would lead to more activity in places uh, like that, especially when you have multiple people that are in similar positions living in the same place over time. I wonder if that could lead to things happening there. So, um, again, I don't know. I don't really know. This is the first time I've really come across a report of a place like this, of this type, where it's supposed to be the home for a um, a political, a top political figure in an area, in a state. I haven't really looked into any other locations like that, so I don't know. But I mean, if you think about the White House, I'm sure a lot of us have heard different reports of activity being happening there over the years, to even apparitions of presidents from different points in time. So, and then the first ladies at times as well. So, um, I wonder if something about being in that position could maybe lead to more activity. I guess it's a possibility there. So thank you all for listening to this, and bearing with me as I try out this new format and of these shows here. I think hopefully it'll work, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Um, and yeah, we'll keep working through these places in the U.S. here. Eventually, we will move on to other countries around the world, as long as I can get information that is in English from them, and go from there. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.